Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, this is Twigs T4, and today is a very special day. What we have got here is the keys to a new vehicle. Now this vehicle was brought in by a customer. This is at work, we're at Dream Day Campers. So this vehicle was brought in by a customer, and the customer, they wanted it MOT. We took it down for the MOT station, it failed. We done a quote on all of the work, and the customer decided that it'd probably be best to let the vehicle go. So I've purchased this vehicle, and it is actually this T25. So MOT failure. I reckon what we're gonna do is we're gonna get all of the work done, get it MOT'd, and try and get it sold by the end of this video. So without further ado, let's run some B-rolls, have a little look around the van, and then we'll get straight into the work and getting it all done, ready for its MOT. Well, we are back home with the van. I don't know how well you're going to hear me, because as you can hear, neighbours have some work going on. It's always the way, as soon as we start a project, people in the neighbourhood start having work done. Right, well, we are back home, and we're just going to go through what needs to be done to get this robot. I'm going to come out the back here a second. Bear with me as we go around the back. Right, it's a little bit quieter out here. But yeah, so the MOT failures were up here in the corner. So basically, all I've got to do is some welding, and we need to get the rear trailing arms replaced. So I have gone ahead and I have replaced the, I've ordered, I haven't replaced them yet, but I have ordered the new rear trailing arms. So they came from Brickworks. We've got new bolts, we're gonna get them done. And then there's some welding, structural welding on the chassis legs. I know how bad the welding is, and it's not that bad at all. All I need to do is the structural stuff. But the MOT guy said left rear and right rear chassis. Now, when I had it up in the air on the ramps at work and we were doing the inspection, there is two patches on the chassis, but they're on the same leg, but in different places. I think as he was putting it into the computer, he must have got confused and just put one on either leg rather than one at the front of that section and one at the rear of that section in the middle. But anyway, it's irrelevant. We're going to get that sorted out. We're going to get the rear trailing arms swapped over, and then we'll get it down for an MOT. So today is, well, yesterday we got it home. Today we're going to get as much work done as we can today. It's a bit of a late start because I thought I had a 46mm socket and I didn't. So I had to go on the hunt for one of them. Went to Machine Mart. They actually didn't have one in stock, which is unfortunate. So I went to work, pinched one off work, so I've got a 46 socket. It is undone. Even the nuts on the wheels, they haven't been undone for a while. They were tight. But it's all loose. Get that wheel off, get the trailing arm swapped over, get the welding done, because it's on this side, both chassis legs. I'll show you bits of that. And all the body work, we're not really too worried about. Someone else can sort that out in the future if they want to. It's basically going to be a decent little rolling restoration for someone. So now the noise has started again, without further ado, let's get in and get some of this work done. Right, so here we are. End of day one. We've got the trailing arm out, we've got all the suspension off. Well, just started doing some repairs, just strengthened up those you can get replacements of these, but there was a couple of holes, so I just fill it with weld. I grind it back, and it's actually thicker. That weld is now thicker than what was on there originally. We had a little hole there on the chassis. Just cut out the rust and welded in some new metal, as you do. And that bit there, this bit in here, wasn't actually an advisory, it wasn't even picked up, but I did notice it, so I decided to cut it out and done a repair on the top of the chassis leg, and all that's left for the rest of the day grind all that back, put a fresh bit of metal in over the top there. Obviously we'll do it butt welded so it's nice and flush, but that is all the MOT repair welding done. We'll grind it all down and then we'll seam seal it, paint it, stone chip, and then the new trailer arm can go on, can all go back together, and then we'll do the other side. Right, now we've got all of the welding done, it's time to actually have a look at some of this that's going on. So we've got a breather hose that needs replacing, and we have a new diaphragm because the diaphragm on the carb was also leaking. Now these things were picked up by Matt from JVS Auto Electric, so he came round just to make sure all the electrics and the gas and everything was working on the van, and he had a good look through it all. We just checked everything, made sure the fridge was working off the 12 volt, it was working off the 240 volt, it was working off the gas. Everything seems to be working fine. And when we had it up and running, he was having a look through the engine bay and he said, oh look, it's leaking fuel from here, that's going to affect your mixture, it's going to affect this, it's going to affect that. The breather's collapsed, and it was actually, you know, he was totally right. So I went ahead and I've ordered a few bits from Brickworks, and we're just going to swap them out quickly. So I've already gone ahead and I have already removed this diaphragm from the carb. It's 4 little screws, and the reason why I've already gone ahead and I removed it straight away was because when I went on to Brickworks, there was 2 sizes. So there's a 13mm and a 19mm. Now the 13mm is no longer used or supplied by VW. Apparently they done a conversion kit to turn it from a 13mm to a 19mm. However, Brickworks do still supply the 13mm diaphragm, so you don't have to go down that route of converting it to a 19mm, because the early ones were a 13mm and the later ones are 19mm. But you can see here the breather had absolutely collapsed, and it wasn't breathing. It's very old, it's just gone soft, it's not doing what it needs to do anymore, so time for a replacement. And for £6 something, I think that's an absolute bargain. And the diaphragm again was only sort of like £6–7. The only expensive thing that I've had to pay out so far is the rear control arms, the trailing arms, but we're not going to mention how much they were. So again, we're just going to skip forward a little bit here, and we'll go straight into fitting the diaphragm up, and then we'll give it a test run and take it down for its MOT. So trying to do this diaphragm, putting it in, it is a little bit tricky. So one side of the diaphragm, there's a paper gasket, and then you've got obviously the rubber diaphragm. Just make sure both surfaces, mating surfaces, the metal surfaces are nice and clean first. So I did go ahead and make sure everything was nice and clean and flat before installing this. And it's a little bit fiddly because you've got a little spring that you've got to get in there as well. Try and hold the diaphragm in as well at the same time, and there's not a lot of room there either, really. I mean, there is a lot of room, but there isn't a lot of room because it's just an awkward angle. I mean, if you've got the carb off and you're doing it on the side, oh, it's easy. But again, it doesn't take 5 minutes to take the carb off. I'm just being absolutely lazy and just doing it in situ, just getting it done. So I've gone ahead and that diaphragm is now all screwed in. It's all screwed up nice and tight. Didn't take long at all really, it's just a little bit fiddly. Also, while we were investigating, the oil leak that was an advisory was coming from that rocker cover. Now I thought it was just going to be a seal, and not going to lie, I was just going to take it off and put some sealant around it and whack it back on again. But taking it off and actually investigating was a good idea, because what we noticed was there were a couple of little pinholes, a couple of little rusty pinholes. So I filled them up with weld, and the worst thing about it was it kept blowing, and so I've just stacked it up. But it's not leaking anymore, so that's the result. And again, you know, this isn't leaking either, so happy days, carbs, no fuel leak, lovely. It's I guess a case of washing it and then get it down for its MOT, get it advertised, and get it sold. So here we are at the MOT station, just keeping it running. So we had it running, put it up in the air, we done the emissions while it was running. So we just kept it running and just had a good look around, because I wanted to get a video of it underneath with it running, making sure that it's not leaking oil or anything like that anymore. And also I thought it'd be nice to get a clip, just because I was actually really impressed with how tidy it was underneath. I mean, it's the previous customers, people have obviously spent a bit of money on it. You know, there's a decent spare wheel, it's got new front calipers, and by the looks of it, from looking around, I can't really see any welding that it's had done, apart from a small bodge up panel, a little patch on the front lip, on the front panel, just above the bumper there, which is a common place for them to go. But you know, this is going to make a great little project for someone. Now it's road legal, so let's get it home and get it sold. So there it is, the cheapest T25 in the country. We've saved it from the scrapper, and now it's ready to be sold. So we haven't gone crazy with the work that needed to be done. So we've left that for the next person, so they can crack on, and someone who wants a little bit of a project. So we will go round quickly, and I will show you what's left to do really, what needs to be addressed. So there is some rusting, some bubbling on the front panel. Obviously I said there was a section that's been welded in along the front there. Obviously a little hole just down there. Got a little bit of rusting around here. The windscreen, below the windscreen, has obviously already been done. So at least you know the windscreen doesn't need to be taken out, and that doesn't need to be done. So that's peace of mind. Down this side, obviously it's a little bit scabby underneath the fuel cap and around that B pillar. It's not the prettiest. And then this is the section of seal that needs to be repaired. It's only a little bit on the inner, mainly all the outer. When I said it didn't look like there was any welding previously, I have found some welding being done in this little bit here, but this is all solid. There is signs of surface rust, which can all be treated. And then we work our way along, a little bit of bubbling. The windows, tiny bit of bubbling. Oh, there's a bit of bubbling along there. The rest of it all along the top, that actually looks all good. This window doesn't look great. I think it's had a repair before, so again, that's something else that might need addressing. Bit of bubbling. Again, more bubbling down here. And this little section just in and around here. Carries on around. There's some rust repairs there to be done, some bubbling here. I mean, yeah, there's a fair bit of bubbling on it. I mean, the rear window, I don't believe it leaks. Everything inside is dry, and we have had a couple of days of rain. So, and it's been all right. So there you go. An original Westphalia tow bar that Matt noticed, and it's actually part of the wiring loom, genuine wiring loom. It's not tied in, it's not been bodged up or soldered in, it's genuine wiring loom. this section here, again, bubbling down here. There's a bit of bubbling here. This window, wow, they've done this window and it actually looks like it's a really good job. Or perhaps it hasn't been done because it's very faded. I'm not sure. Looks like maybe awning rail has damaged that. So heat that up, bend that back. Where else we got? This window looks good. The sliding door actually looks really good. Again, this side, it's a bit crusty along here. A little bit of bubbling down here. But the arches are solid. Both sides, the arches are really good. This step has not been welded. However, it does, I think, require a little bit of investigation and maybe a little bit of work. So it might need a step, but again, that is a really easy job to do a step. I mean, you can do one of them in a couple of hours. This door's good. Yeah, there you go, lovely. Right, so let's have a quick look inside. So again, I said Matt, JBS Auto Electrics, he's gone through everything, just double checking everything was working fine. Anything that needed cutting out and redoing, he's done. It just needed refreshing, really. Yeah, so leisure battery, fridge works off the leisure battery only when it's being driven, but you've got to have the switch on here. There's a lot to go through. Well, there's not, but there is. So we've also got the little Zig unit there, which does say water pump, lights and auxiliary. So the water pump for the tap, that works. The lights, they do work. I am waiting for some lights to arrive so we can put them in. But when you turn that switch on, it also makes this one live. So there's a little light up there, and that's also on a separate switch. It's on it. So that also comes on with that, which you can also individually turn these lights off. But there is power going to them, although we haven't got them in there. The gas works on the cooker and the fridge. 240 works on the fridge. There is also the 240 unit here. So when you're running on the 240 electrics, the fridge runs off this plug. You've also got another 2 plugs here. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really. Obviously a swivel seat. Yeah, and then underneath here, let's get these cushions out moved quickly. Won't take a second. Oh no, it will take a second, so I've got to lift this up. Actually, it won't take a second because we'll show you. Pull this handle up, and then that seat just pushes back. And underneath here, that's where the gas would be, and that's for your water bottle. So obviously you're going to need some gas, you're going to need a water bottle. The wastewater runs out, and then there's like you need to get a waste bottle because obviously it goes straight through to the floor. Then you just put your waste bottle underneath. Pioneer stereo system, it works, so that's all I know. The upstairs bed, this does slide. Lovely. That works. We've got the old vent at the top that opens and closes. Yeah, lovely. So there you have it, the cheapest T25, and it's now up for sale. So if you're interested, give us a shout. Instagram, Matt Twig, Twig C4, either one of them. Or message me down below, give me your email, we can get in touch and we'll hook you up so it's ready to go camping. All drivable, MOT'd, lovely, happy stuff. Right, I'll see you all soon. Take care, stay safe and God bless.